Weather has always been unpredictable, both feared and respected by humanity. From biblical floods to extreme droughts that toppled entire civilizations, weather has had a massive impact on life on Earth. For centuries, humans tried to influence the weather without success. The idea of controlling the weather remained in the realm of myths and dreams for a long time. But in the 20th century, amidst scientific and technological advances, the dream of weather manipulation began to turn into reality. What was once described as science fiction became a serious scientific study: cloud seeding, or the artificial induction of rain. While the idea sounds simple, dispersing chemicals in clouds to cause rain, its execution proved full of challenges and controversies. Behind the scenes, far from the public eye, governments, scientists, and even private companies collaborated to perfect this technology. But as often happens with such innovations, the use of cloud seeding brought not only hope but also dark consequences. This is the story of cloud seeding, its consequences, and its effects. The origins of cloud seeding date back to the 1940s, when the world was still recovering from World War II. Scientists were searching for new ways to influence nature, both for peaceful and military purposes. One of the pioneers in this field was Dr. Vincent Schaefer, a chemist working at General Electric in the United States. 1946, Schaefer discovered, while experimenting with dry ice, that it was possible to form ice crystals in a laboratory setting. This led to a crucial insight: if it was possible to form ice crystals in a controlled environment, it should theoretically be possible to do the same in the atmosphere and cause rain. This insight marked the beginning of cloud seeding. The first successful experiment took place over the Berkshire Mountains in Massachusetts, where Schaefer and his team dropped dry ice from a plane into a cloud. Within minutes, it began to snow, confirming the idea that human intervention could cause rain or snow. This was a scientific breakthrough of enormous proportions, and the potential of this technology was soon recognized by military and civil authorities. After Schaefer's success, several countries, including the United States and the Soviet Union, began experimenting with cloud seeding. In the 1950s and 1960s, numerous experiments were conducted for both civil and military purposes. However, these experiments were not without consequences. In the United States, Project Cirrus in 1947 led to the first major public disaster associated with cloud seeding. The project, led by General Electric in collaboration with the U.S. Air Force, aimed to influence hurricanes. The experiment, which involved introducing silver iodide into the atmosphere to alter a hurricane's course, resulted in disastrous and unexpected outcomes. The hurricane changed course and struck Savannah, Georgia, causing significant damage. Although the link between the experiment and the hurricane's change in direction was never fully confirmed, the incident caused a public outcry and led to a temporary halt of such experiments. Meanwhile, the Soviets, in their quest for technological supremacy, also began large-scale cloud seeding experiments. They saw cloud seeding not only as a way to induce rain in dry areas but also as a means to manipulate the weather for strategic purposes. This led to a secretive and competitive atmosphere around weather manipulation, akin to the space race. As the Cold War dominated global politics, cloud seeding became an important element in geopolitical strategies. The United States and the Soviet Union saw the potential of cloud seeding as a new kind of weapon in their struggle for world domination. This led to the development of secret agendas aimed at using cloud seeding for military purposes. One of the most notorious examples was Operation Popeye, a secret mission by the U.S. military during the Vietnam War. Between 1967 and 1972, the United States conducted a large-scale cloud seeding operation over the Ho Chi Minh Trail, aimed at disrupting enemy supply routes by extending monsoon rains and turning roads into mud. Although Operation Popeye was kept secret, it eventually leaked, leading to international outrage and calls to ban weather manipulation as a war strategy. The revelation of Operation Popeye and other similar projects led to the signing of the ENMOD Convention, Environmental Modification Convention, in 1977, an international treaty that prohibits the use of weather manipulation for military purposes. Although the treaty was a significant step in regulating weather manipulation, it was just the tip of the iceberg. Behind the scenes, secret experiments and programs continued, often without public knowledge. While cloud seeding was originally developed with military purposes in mind, it began to be applied for civilian purposes in the 1970s and 1980s. Governments and companies in dry regions saw cloud seeding as a way to solve their water problems by inducing rain in areas that normally receive little precipitation. In the United States, several states, such as California and Colorado, became pioneers in the use of cloud seeding to replenish water reservoirs and irrigate crops. China, facing severe droughts in its northern regions, also began large-scale cloud seeding programs. The Chinese government saw cloud seeding as a way to increase food production and address water shortages in urban areas. One of the most ambitious cloud seeding projects took place in the United Arab Emirates, where the government invested millions of dollars in technologies to generate rain in the desert. These projects used the most advanced techniques, such as drones and planes that dispersed silver iodide and other chemicals into the atmosphere. The results were mixed, but the Emirates saw it as a long-term solution to their water supply problems. There have also been recent negative consequences from these projects in 2024. As cloud seeding grew in popularity, so did the surrounding consequences. Critics pointed to the potential negative effects of cloud seeding on the environment, such as the possible contamination of water sources by the chemicals used. There were also concerns about the consequences of manipulating the weather, especially in border areas where cloud seeding in one country could have effects on neighboring countries. Another point of criticism was the lack of scientific knowledge about the effectiveness of cloud seeding. While some studies showed that cloud seeding could increase precipitation under certain conditions, the results were often inconsistent and difficult to replicate. This led to skepticism among scientists and policymakers about the true value of cloud seeding as a permanent solution to drought. There were also reports of legal disputes between regions that used cloud seeding and those affected by it. In some cases, farmers claimed that cloud seeding in a neighboring region had reduced precipitation in their own area, leading to lawsuits and calls for stricter regulation. As the world faces the increasing threat of climate change, the debate over cloud seeding and other forms of geoengineering has reignited. Some see cloud seeding as a potential solution to the extreme weather conditions associated with climate change, such as droughts, floods, and heat waves. In 2020, the Chinese government launched an ambitious plan to expand the use of cloud seeding to more than 2.1 million square kilometers, an area about the size of India. This project aims to increase precipitation in dry regions, improve crop production, and address water shortages. Critics, however, warn that such large-scale intervention could have unforeseen consequences for the environment and climate, both in China and beyond. The resulting disasters could be catastrophic. In the United States and Europe, there are also discussions about the use of cloud seeding and other technologies to mitigate the effects of climate change. Some scientists advocate the use of cloud seeding to slow global warming by increasing the reflectivity of clouds, a technique known as solar radiation management. However, others warn of the ethical and ecological risks of such interventions, which could disrupt the natural balance of the atmosphere. Although cloud seeding is often presented as a scientific and technological marvel, there is a dark side to the technology that is rarely discussed publicly. There are countless stories and conspiracy theories about secret cloud seeding experiments, with governments and companies allegedly manipulating the weather for their own purposes. One of the most persistent rumors involves the use of cloud seeding by governments to achieve political and economic goals. It is said that certain governments have used cloud seeding to worsen droughts in hostile countries or manipulate rainfall to benefit certain industries. While these allegations are often difficult to prove, they contribute to the mystique and distrust surrounding cloud seeding. There are also reports of companies using cloud seeding as a form of economic sabotage, reducing rainfall in certain areas to harm competitors or manipulate the prices of agricultural products. These practices, though rarely documented, are a source of growing concern among farmers and policymakers. In the Netherlands, for example, farmers are being bought out. It is claimed that crops must fail deliberately to undermine the financial security of farmers. Farmers who refuse to be bought out will lose their businesses in other ways, according to various internal sources. This is supposedly to end the nitrogen crisis. Within the scientific community, cloud seeding is a subject of ongoing debate and research. While some scientists are enthusiastic about the technology's potential to address water shortages and the effects of climate change, others remain skeptical about its effectiveness and ethical implications. The continuous use of chemicals could also have negative consequences for public health in the long term. Researchers are constantly trying to develop new methods and techniques to make cloud seeding more efficient and predictable. This includes the use of advanced weather models, artificial intelligence, and precision technologies to improve the outcomes of cloud seeding. Despite these efforts, it remains difficult to guarantee the success of cloud seeding, especially given the complexity of atmospheric processes. There is also a growing debate about the ethics of cloud seeding and other forms of geoengineering. Some scientists advocate for strict regulation and transparency around the use of these technologies, while others warn of the dangers of overregulation, which could hinder innovation and scientific progress. In the 21st century, as the global demand for water increases, cloud seeding is increasingly seen as a possible solution in water management strategies. Cities and countries around the world, from the United Arab Emirates to South Africa. What do you think of this? Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel and turn your notifications on.